Hey everyone, this is Grant, the founder of EduLinx. I'm just giving you an update on the changes that we've made from a provider's perspective. Now, the main thing you'll first notice is that you can sign up individually as an education provider, and when you do that, you can also indicate your interests. You can find this little drop down in your dashboard for those that have already signed up. If you just go into your profile, you can update these. And what this allows us to do is keep track of how many different providers are fitting different KLA areas and cross-curricular priorities, but also it will help us to keep you up to date and give you the most relevant news, policy changes, and tips and advice throughout. Some of it will be put onto the main platform, but obviously others will be put into the mailing list. So you can always update these as you please and just update your profile. If you are finding that maybe you're not getting things in the email, or if you're just a little concerned and you want to double check, just contact the support team and we can let you know, and we can always update our records if there's any issues there. On top of that, the other major feature we've provided is the expiry date functionality. So for those people who, particularly organisations that might do shows or might run things for particular seasons or terms, you can always set expiry dates here now. So the listing will appear as long as that expiry date is met until the last day. So you'll notice in your listings, and you can see when that date is very clearly here with the countdown. So in your listings, you'll see the listing expiry date will appear here. Basically, you'll have a countdown of how many days you have left. This plan expiry countdown here is for the plan you've signed up for that individual listing. So if you've just signed up for the month-to-month plan, then that will only count down for how many days you have left in the month, and then that will always be the priority. So if it doesn't fit, if your expiry date goes beyond your plan expiry date, then that will be overruled. So it will be removed from the platform and search functionality for educators. So just be wary of that. But if you need to push it back, you can always literally just go edit your listing, and when you go to edit it, you can just push this date back further and further if you need. Again, obviously, the plan expiry date will be the superseding factor. On top of that, we've also added, based on what we've seen from providers and what principals particularly will be looking at when evaluating programs, we've put the syllabus outcomes as another organisational support. We have a good number of providers that already offer this support, so you can always go back through, edit your listings, and just tick that box there, just to show teachers that you are offering that extra added support for their organisation. But as we've mentioned, given the pandemic and the recovery effort, schools are going to be a lot more strapped for budgets, and they will be needing to rely a lot more on data than they already do, which is already quite overwhelming. So if you can show in the best way possible how your program is meeting outcomes and allowing students to leave with extra data to support that, essentially you are either not only meeting the outcomes but also ticking areas such as literacy, numeracy, maybe well-being areas. The more you can provide evidence of that, the better for schools, and the more likely it will be for you to be taken on board and for that word of mouth to spread. So outside of that, the broad site structure has changed. So we've created an educators and providers section, things to help you keep up to date on the news. So as we've mentioned from the start, we want to make this a space that keeps providers updated on policy changes, curriculum changes that are relevant to them, as well as trends that educators are concerned about, things that they would like perhaps more support with, or things that they find more relevant that will help them to run the best programs they can. So in this provider section, you'll get news sporadically. You'll also get guides and tips, as we've already provided some of these in the past, and we'll kind of create these as cornerstone pieces that we update periodically. So what we know about the best ways to organise excursions and incursions as policy changes. Same thing with running things online, as we've all been forced to learn and adapt to. So On top of that, we're also really keen to have providers that maybe you don't run excursions or incursions, but you provide lots of free resources for educators. We're more than happy to have you come on board and work with us to share your resources in the primary and secondary support pages. And these pages will basically be sections to help teachers find really quality resources that help them across KLAs or within KLAs or with cross-curricular priorities like sustainability and well-being and ATSE and things along those lines. And we really would love to promote these throughout the year, in particular for the several months that we have and weeks that we have to celebrate certain events. And you'll notice these in our calendar, which we put on the front page and throughout the educators sections in particular. Things like NAIDOC Week, Mental Health Month, Science Week. So you have many of these throughout the year. So there's more and more opportunities for providers to come on board and offer the best support they can for teachers. And we're really trying to make this EduLinx space a hub for teachers and other educators or staff as well, to find the most quality programs as well as resources to freely support them as much as possible, given the complexity of the role as a teacher and the real difficulty that not only providers have, but educators have in navigating the amount of resources and information that is out there on the internet. We're really trying to wade through everything, save you having to go through Google so much or Facebook groups, and give a bit of power back to educators and providers in a much more streamlined fashion. So, as always, more than happy to have you come on board. Just contact us in the support page or sign up in the top right hand corner. And we always have YouTube support videos as well to give you any advice, or you can just fill out the form and we can let you know. But it's all quite user friendly. And as always, there are plenty of tips throughout the listing submission form. All right. Best of luck and welcome aboard.